Good morning, everybody. It's your favorite aspiring revolutionary here, a wandering author, reminding you that we are all the authors of our own lives. As always, my message remains the same: spend less, live more, earn your freedom with frugality. Today, we are in Governor Dodge State Park in central Wisconsin. It's part of the Driftless region, which is a really cool name, but it's named that way because, as you can see, we're kind of down in a little bit of a valley here. Most of Wisconsin's very flat, except up near Lake Superior, which you guys saw a couple days ago, and right around here, because there was never any glaciers on this part of the land. I think that's what the plaque said at the entrance to this park. Anyways, the bird people send their condolences. My ascension went well. Joking. Anyways, we are heading south currently to meet up at a fair that occurs in Neshoba County, Mississippi, so we can enjoy ourselves and reconnect. It's been about 10 years since I've gone to the Neshoba County Fair, but it should be a really good time. And today I do have a little bit of content for you guys. We're going to talk about collateralized debt obligations and the Troubled Assets Relief Program. So during the Great Recession, the progenitor of the economic collapse was these derivatives, is what they're called. That's a class of financial assets where they gain their value from they derive their value from an underlying asset, right? So collateralized debt obligations themselves were invented by junk bond king Michael Milliken, who worked for Drexel and Lambert in the 80s. Real famous greed is good type of guy, similar to Gordon Gekko. But basically, they take any kind of debt instrument where people are making regular payments on them, and then they use the cash flow as the collateral for these loans. So if the loans go delinquent, that's what you would claim. So it's not super great in hindsight if the loans default. The person who invested in those assets it's kind of out of luck. And for they were first invented in the mid 80s, 87 or something along those lines. And for the first long time, 30, 40 years, until 2003, let's see, what was it, $30 billion in mortgage-backed securities were held by investments, or institutional grade investors. But then by 2006, that increased from 30 billion to over 230 billion. So almost a 10 times, about an 8 times increase. And it did not take long from them for once the housing bubble started to pop and asset values began to plummet. Literally, it's the worst, one of the worst disasters economically in history, because these investment bankers lost literally hundreds of billions of dollars in value. Now, what is the Troubled Asset Relief Program? Well, after AIG collapsed, which is an insurance company that insures investments, the U.S. Treasury Department decided that we were going to bail out all these companies that were too big to fail, right? So the TARP funds, as they're called, $700 billion of U.S. taxpayer money, $45 billion of that, so a little less than 10%, did go towards American families to supposedly help them not be foreclosed on, although a ton of people still did get foreclosed on during the 08 crisis. Now, here's a funny thing, and I will drop a link to this in the description, so check below. The U.S. Treasury website talks about what they used the money for, and one of the top things was executive compensation. Think about that. They used our taxpayer money to pay the executives of these companies who caused the crisis in the first place. Very caring, right? They also did help to bail out the auto industry. They restarted the credit markets, and they propped up some of the insurance companies that had guaranteed these investments that were tanking the economy. Probably smarter ways that they could have fixed things, but that's really all I have for you guys today as far as the Great Recession goes. The issues that led to them really haven't been fixed long term. And ever since the TARP relief program, inequality, both in wealth and income, has grown steadily in the U.S. to the point that it's actually worse today than it was in pre-revolutionary France. Yeah, I definitely want to this week start talking about the creation versus consumption topic. I want to also tie in my door knocking experiences. So something that's very interesting, and I've been struggling to come up with a way to word this. Whenever you're knocking on doors, right, you don't have a manager, you're not being told specifically, you have a goal, like you need to sell accounts, right? But you're dropped off and you just are supposed to make it happen. So it puts you into a very creative state of mind where you're just you're using the resources that you have at your disposal and your own creativity and intelligence to figure out a way to solve this puzzle, so to speak. Definitely helped to mold me into the person I am today. So most jobs don't force you to think that much, right? Anyways, man, I kind of miss being around Lake Superior because it's about 86 degrees where I'm at right now. And yesterday when I was in Minnesota, it was like in the 50s. So it's way hotter here. Sometime next month we should begin heading up towards Maine. I want to go through Rocky Mountain National Park on my way there. And this winter, I want to do some traveling so I can see some snow somewhere. And along the way, I want to get like a briefing board so I can start planning stuff and have that on my channel and stuff too. But it's really all I have for you guys today. Until next time, what are y'all doing in order to inspire, uplift, and empower your community today? Because this world isn't changing unless we all do our part. And you can count on me to do mine daily. As always, my message remains the same. Spend less, live more, earn your freedom with frugality. This is a wandering author reminding you that we are all the authors of our own lives. Until next time, I love y'all.